particular at a time of year like this, when it is almost April and the snow piles in our driveways are still 3 feet tall, the great Canadian topic of conversation is, where is the spring? And we look at each other with tearful eyes saying, will it ever come? Where is it? Have you seen a robin yet? And we have longing and hope in our hearts. That isn't an unusual thing. We are a people who are highly industrialized, and our livelihood for the most part does not depend on the coming of the spring, at least not directly. But imagine if you are an agricultural-based culture, and all you have to hope for is that the rain and the warmth will come and bring new life and food for your family. The delay of the springtime becomes a major life-threatening issue. And that's how things were up just north of what we call the Holy Land, in the Jezreel Valley. And in the area that we refer to as Mesopotamia, between the rivers Tigris and Euphrates, Babylon and Assyria, a completely agricultural culture. And so it's no wonder for them that the delay of spring was a disaster. And it's no wonder that they developed a religion based entirely upon the weather. The wind and the sun and the rain and the sky, and the god whom they worshipped was called Baal, which just means God. Baal Zubal, the god of high places. And it was Baal Zubal who made the rain to fall in the springtime, and made the sun to shine in the summer, and was the giver of all bounty and all wealth. And the worship of Baal Zubal was universal across all of Babylon and Assyria, most of the world which surrounded the tiny little provinces in Judah and Israel. People who worshipped Baal Zubal had developed some strange practices. Baal Zubal was a fickle god who could feel anger in a moment, a god who was often filled with wrath. And if a time of year came like we are experiencing now, when the spring was delayed, the people would say, Baal Zubal is angry with us. We must appease Baal. We must sacrifice to him. And in the beginning, what they sacrificed was everything valuable that they had. Any food they had left over, they would take to the temple of Baal Zubal and burn on the altar. And if the rain and the sun still did not come, they would say, what is next? We must sacrifice what is absolutely most valuable to us so that Baal will bless us with the rain. And it eventually came that the worshippers of Baal Zubal would sacrifice their children. They would put them on the altar and they would burn them. And they would say to Baal Zubal, look how much we have sacrificed for you. We have sacrificed what we love the most. Surely now you have to give us the springtime. And of course, every year, even if it was delayed, the spring would come. And the worshippers of Baal Zubal would say, look, our God has accepted our sacrifice and is no longer angry with us and has blessed us. That was the predominant worship surrounding the Holy Land. And obviously the people in the Holy Land had a whole different worship than that. but the people of the Holy Land were constantly in touch with those people, the Babylonians and the Assyrians. They were always going back and forth, and so these ideas began to come into the worship that was the worship of Yahweh, our God. Now, the place where that happened was a place called Megiddo. And I put an insert into the bulletin today. Don't look at it now. Take it home with you. Well, you'll be rustling your papers and looking at it. Megiddo was a city that was at the very crossroads of a highway called the Via Maris. And the Via Maris was the highway that ran from Africa through Egypt up through the Holy Land, and then at Megiddo it split off into two roads. The one went right through Galilee, off into Assyria and Babylon. The other road, coming out of the Via Maris, went on through to Rome and into all of Europe. And what that meant was that the Holy Land, Galilee in particular, was at the very crossroads of all the travel and all the commerce and everything that happened in the Holy